Hello, Facebook. Welcome to day 7 of 28 days of the Team Heart Live Facebook Challenge. And I just wanted to I just wanted to share with you some thoughts from this afternoon. My mom and dad came by to visit, and I took a picture with my mom, because I like to take pictures with her periodically. It just allows me to kind of document this journey that we're on together. If you don't know, my mom has Alzheimer's. And so we're on this Alzheimer's journey. So I take pictures periodically just to kind of document this journey. And today I went to take the picture, and she, could see herself in the camera, but didn't know who that person was. And so she kept trying to talk to the person in the camera because she thought she was seeing a person. And so she asked me in the way that she can who that person was in the mirror. And I said, well, that's you. And she laughed. And I said, that's you, Mommy. And she said, Mommy. And she looked at me with this strange look on her face. And I said, yes. I said, that's you and me. Mom and daughter, that's us together. It's a picture. And so she kind of sat up a little bit, and then she looked back at me and she said, who's mom? And I said, who's my mom? And she said, and she shook her head yes. And I said, you're my mom. And she laughed and she said, I was a mom. And it's one of those moments when you know they know who you are, you know that they love you and are comfortable with you, and that they remember you on some level, but she didn't remember that I was her daughter. And that's just the reality of having a parent who has Alzheimer's. You do reach a point where they no longer know who you are. And there's still this underlying heartfelt connection, though, because they know they're safe with you. They know that you love them or that they love you. They just don't know who you are. And it's really emotionally difficult. And quite honestly, I'm surprised I'm not bawling right now telling you this, but this is the realities of living with someone who has Alzheimer's. But I just wanted to share, because I think sometimes people, they don't understand that everything about Alzheimer's is not horrific. Like, there are still good moments, and there are still funny things that happen. And, from all of the forums I'm on and all of the groups I'm part of, I know that we are really, really blessed that my mom is happy. She's got a happy personality. She laughs. She finds a lot of joy just in being with people. And, we haven't had to really deal with the anger and the violence and some of the other things that happen with Alzheimer's. So we're very blessed in that regard. And I thank God every day that we are, to this point at least. But there is funny things that happen still. And so I just thought I would share with you like some of the realities of living with someone who has Alzheimer's. So today, my dad and my mom were getting dressed, and my dad couldn't find his sock. Like, he had 2 socks, couldn't find one, thought maybe he kicked it under the bed, and went ahead and just grabbed a different sock. pair of socks and put them on, and they left the house. And they're out running around, and my dad realizes that my mom put his sock on over her sock. So she has 2 socks on one foot, 1 sock on the other. And she was complaining because her shoe felt tight. And it's because she had double socks on. So, I mean, it's just those funny little things that happen. My mom, let's see, what's something else that she does? So she always grabs something. At the start of the day, she attaches to something, and it becomes her thing for the day, and she carries it around with her everywhere. So yesterday, there's this really beautiful glass fish that my mom bought for their bathroom years ago, and that was what she latched onto. And so yesterday, she carried that glass fish with her absolutely everywhere. It was her pet. And she stroked it. She, murmured sweet nothings to it. I mean, it was as real to her as if she was holding, like a dog. So, you have those funny little moments and those humorous little things. And sometimes it's a stuffed animal. Sometimes it's something else. My sister-in-law, my brother got her a fidget blanket, which if you've ever seen them, they're amazing. And, fidget blankets are really great for people with Alzheimer's, and she loves it. She's used it, but apparently her new thing now is there's this little children's stool at their house, and she takes it and folds it up really nicely, and she sets it on the stool, and every now and then she goes over and she pats on it and loves on it a little bit, but she never removes it from the stool. Like it's somehow in her mind belongs with that stool in her house. Grooming, like my dad does all of her grooming for her, and for the most part, she's perfectly fine with it, but she absolutely hates having her hair washed. And if you can imagine, wrestling with a full-grown adult to get their hair washed every other day is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. And thank gosh for Danae, who's her hairdresser, and the patience that she has for working with my mom to wash her hair and cut her hair. And I mean, but these are the realities, right, of what you deal with. When it comes to eating, my mom eats really slowly now. And my dad will finish his dinner and be ready to get up and go off and do something, and often takes advantage of her eating to go do something really quick. But what happens is he will look up and she'll be right there with him because she wants to be close to him. And that's an anxiety thing for my mom. My dad has to be in her sight line. And I don't know if you can just grasp that for a second, but to never be allowed to be out of someone's eyesight is huge. You literally can't be away from somebody. And, that's a huge burden. And, my dad will have to walk back into the kitchen or the dining room table and sit down, and have her start eating again and stay until she's done eating. Otherwise, she won't actually finish her food. But it's the reverse when it comes to coffee. My whole life, my mom has been a coffee drinker, loves coffee, always loved coffee. And to this day, you put a cup of coffee in front of her, and before you even have gotten your cup of coffee and sat down, she's almost done with her coffee. I mean, she just guzzles coffee. Another reality of living with Alzheimer's is they think everything is theirs. And it's a control thing because they have lost control of so much. They tend to glom onto physical things, and they think that stuff's theirs. So, what's one of the problems is my dad's always having to tell her that something isn't hers, or to put it down, or to leave it alone. So just imagine a 2-year-old that is, in someone's house and wanting to touch all the knickknacks and wanting to, get into the books and the magazines and things. That's my mom. What else? Another funny little thing that happened the other day is my dad laid down to try and take a brief nap, and he was only 10 minutes, I think, is what he gave himself. And he woke up and my mom was wearing his shoes. So while he had kicked his shoes off and reclined in the recliner, she had busily taken her shoes off and put his on and was walking all over the house in his shoes. So I mean, it's just, this is life with Alzheimer's. And I don't share all of this to embarrass my mom or to share something that would upset my parents. I share it because people need to understand that this is 24-hour round-the-clock care when you have someone who has Alzheimer's, and they are going through different things, and their behaviors and their actions, usually there's something behind most of it, even if you can't see it at the moment that you're in it. But I share it because prevention of Alzheimer's is important to me. It's become a passion of mine because of my mother. And, when I learned that we have the power within us to prevent Alzheimer's, that we don't have to express that genetic marker, that totally lit a fire up inside of me. And I don't want that to be my story or my children's story or their children's story. I don't want to have Alzheimer's touch any more people's lives. Like, it is so hard to watch someone that you love disappear in front of you incrementally, minute by minute, day by day. They aren't gone, but they are gone. And it's the hardest grief process you will go through because you're losing them in a slow, torturous manner. And if I can share with somebody the power of nutrigenomics, the power of NRF2 activation, the power of prevention, and save one family from the grief of living with this disease, of the pain of watching someone deteriorate. If I can help some child practice prevention now so that they don't have to experience that when they're a senior citizen, just because their family has a history of it, that's worth it to me. It's worth every conversation. It's worth all the hours of study I put in. It's worth every single passion in my life to give this to the people. And I do have a page on Facebook. It's called Nutrigenomics and the Alzheimer's Connection. Please follow the page, share the page with people, share it with those that you know who have any kind of neurological disease, really, but Alzheimer's specifically. And let me help the world. Help me help the world by participating and by sharing what I have to share. So that's my little blurb for today. I hope you guys have a great week. And, your life is in your hands, literally. And what you do every day, the actions you take, the foods you eat, the people you surround yourself with, all of those things create your life now and in the future. And you have the power to change it so that you can live a long, healthy, productive life. So don't think that because you aren't, in your 60s or 70s or 80s, that you don't have to think about it now, because now is when you do have to think about it. So I could talk about this stuff for hours. I'm not going to. If you ever want information or you ever want to pick my brain on something, please private message me. I am more than happy to share with anyone at any time when it comes to Alzheimer's and NRF2 activation and nutrigenomics. Have a great day.